Good morning, guys. It's Wednesday, September 9th. I'm just checking in. We're going to do section 2.4 notes. It's writing linear equations. And so there's three things that we need to learn today. The first one is slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is in y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Right here, you guys, your y-intercept is always written as 0b. You need to learn to recognize the y-intercept. So remember, anytime you see 0 and a number, okay, I know it's supposed to be b, but anytime you see a 0 comma a number, this is our y-intercept. I want to make sure you guys realize that. And I want you to make sure that you're recognizing what the y-intercept is. So y equals mx plus b. That's the first thing that we're going to learn, okay? And we did a little bit of that yesterday. The second form that we're going to learn is point-slope form. Literally, the reason it is called point-slope form is because you're given a point and you're given a slope. So y1, x1, that would be the point that they give you. Notice that you still have an y and an x, just like you did in slope-intercept form, you guys, y and an x. So in point-slope form, you'll have a y and an x that don't change, they just stay there. A y sub 1 and an x sub 1, that comes from the point, and then your slope. Again, you guys, they're going to give you literally a point and a slope. There's a couple of different ways that you can do it. And what I mean by that is that they give you 2 points. You can use either one of these. So again, this is a point and a slope. This is the y-intercept and the slope. But if they give you 2 points, you can either find the slope and then plug it into point slope, or you can find the slope and plug it into the y-intercept, slope-intercept form. It's really up to you. I'm going to show you both of those in a second. The next thing that we're going to learn is parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So see how it's 3 and negative 1/3? Those are opposite reciprocals. So let's write that. Opposite reciprocals. And you guys can't see that? There we go. So again, parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocals or inverses, right? And one's positive and one's negative, okay? So again, slope-intercept form, point-slope form where you have a point and a slope, and then parallel and perpendicular lines. Those are our three big lessons that we're going to learn today, or topics. Okay, so we're going to do the very first example. And it's asking us to write the equation of the line given the following information. Well, I'm given a slope and I'm giving the y-intercept. How do I know that's the y-intercept? Because it's 0 and a number. Remember I wrote that? So to write this, we would just write y equals 1.5x plus 5. Okay? Now, remember what I told you? I told you that you could either find the, you're going to have to find the slope, okay? You can either plug it into slope-intercept form when you're done, or you can put it in point-slope form. It's just a matter of what you want to do. I do know that I have the y-intercept. I know that this is the y-intercept. So it might be beneficial to me to find the slope and then to put it in slope-intercept form. Again, because I know 2 points, it probably will be a good idea for me to write it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's just go back. The reason I wrote this one in slope-intercept form is because they gave me a slope and the y-intercept. That's the y-intercept. How I know that's the y-intercept is because it's 0 and a number. Number 2. They're giving me 2 points. I noticed that one's a y-intercept. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is find the slope, no matter what. Whether I was going to put it in point slope or slope-intercept form, I need to find the slope. So to find the slope, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 0 minus negative 2 is positive 2. My slope ends up being negative 1. So now I know my slope and I know my y-intercept. So since I know a slope and a y-intercept, I'm going to write it as y equals negative x plus 1. You might ask me, why didn't I write negative 1? You guys, you can write negative 1 there. You usually do not see it. It's not something that you would get marked wrong for, but you won't ever see it. So remember that the coefficient of this is negative 1. So again, I found the slope, which I had to. They've given me 2 points. I had to find the slope. So I found the slope, and then I plugged it into slope-intercept form. Okay? Now, number 3. What did they give me? They gave me a point and a slope. Since they gave me a point and a slope, and the point they gave me is not the y-intercept, I'm going to use point-slope form. Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is on the other page. So this is x1, y1, that's your slope. So here we go. This y stays the same, minus, well, y1 is 5, so I'm going to replace y1 with 5, equals, the m is negative 2, so I'm going to replace the m with negative 2. X stays the same, minus stays the same, and then 3, and then close. So I know a point and I know a slope. So I put it in point slope form and I'm done. Now there's some teachers that will make you change it to slope intercept form, but because it didn't say that, we're gonna leave it like this. I will show you on the next one how to write it in slope intercept form. So again, you guys, this is point slope form. You guys, if that was a negative 3, it would have ended up being x minus negative 3, and you would have changed that to a positive. Okay, but these are always minus. These are always minus signs. They're always subtraction, no matter what. If it was, so you would, if tongue-tied. If this was a negative number, you would have written x minus negative 3 minus a negative would have become a positive. Okay, let's look at example 4. So when you're looking at a problem, write an equation of the line. So the first thing I noticed is that all of these lines are in slope-intercept form. So that means if I write it in point-slope form, I will eventually have to get slope to slope-intercept form. Now, I'm given 2 points. So right away from those 2 points, I need to find the slope. I noticed that the line didn't do a really good job of passing through the grid like we talked about the other day. So I'm going to find the slope. So the slope would be, I'm going to do 11 minus negative 1. So 11 minus negative 1. Okay. And then I'm going to do negative 9. Remember that these two should come from the same ordered pair. Minus negative 6. This becomes 11 plus 1. This becomes negative 9 plus 6. 11 plus 1 is 12. Negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. There is only one with a slope of negative 4. But let's say there was 2 of them. What I'm worried about, oh, you guys can't see that, I'm sorry. I apologize, there we go. Let's move it up a little bit, there we go. There's only one slope with negative 4, but what happens if there would have been, what would have happened if there was 2 slopes with -4. So what I want to do is I want to teach you how to find that -25, or remind you how to find it. So let's say there was more, and I want to make sure that A is correct. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in y equals mx plus b. I'm going to look for b. So I'm going to use one of these points. I'm going to use 11 and -1 because 1's positive. So instead of writing y, I'm going to put 11. Instead of writing m, I'm going to put -4. Instead of writing x, I'm going to put -9 plus b, because I'm trying to find that -25. What I want to do is I'm checking to make sure that this equation is correct. So I have 11 equaling -4 times -9 is positive 36 plus b. I'm going to subtract this 36 from both sides. 11 minus 36 is indeed -25 equaling b. So I know now that that is the correct answer. I have my slope of -4. I have my y-intercept of -25. I've checked it. You guys, again, what I did to make sure that this was the right y-intercept is I took one of these points and I plugged it in. You guys, these are the points like y and x you can plug in. Okay, so let's make sure that we all are good. So we have slope-intercept form. We need to learn to recognize our y-intercept. We have point-slope form where they give us a point and a slope. And this would be like example 3. We have parallel lines that have the same slope, perpendicular lines that have opposite reciprocals. That's going to be on the next video. Sorry, I know I'm all over the place. We have a slope and a y-intercept. That's why we wrote it in slope-intercept form, because this was our y-intercept. We had 2 points, so I had to find the slope. But because I knew the slope and the y-intercept, I could write it in slope-intercept form. On number 3, I knew a point and a slope, so I wrote it in point-slope form. And then for 4, I used 2 points to find the slope, and then I used one of the points to find the y-intercept to make sure I was correct. Thanks, guys.